Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. Mariah May, it looks as if she is leaving AEW and going to WWE. That seems all but done. There's still stuff that needs to be worked out before she gets there. But I think I have found the reason. I have found the reason why Mariah May left AEW. And here's the reason why I say I think that AEW missed an opportunity here to maximize Mariah May even more. Mariah May signed a 2-year contract. She kind of knew going in, hey, I want to elevate myself, and ultimately I do want to land in WWE. She's still in her mid-20s, guys. She's still really young and early in her career, and she's still really a hot commodity. She could have made more money in AEW. But here's the reason why I think she left. Booking. She saw how she was booked. And let's take a look at this. I'm going to take you guys back to July when she won the Owen Hart Cup tournament and then turned heel. Before we got to Toni Storm, she faced Caitlin Alexis in a squash match. She faced Viva Van in an extended squash match, and London Dior in a 30-second squash match before she beat Toni Storm in that match at All In, which was great. So really not great booking in that past that point. Then we get to after that whole sequence of events. And, I can't even believe I'm actually on Cage Match News, but I have to illustrate a point here. So Mariah May, after she won the women's world title, here's what happened. She then faced Nyla Rose in a championship match, won that, had an eliminator match against Queen Aminata, won that, had a tag team match where she teamed with Serena Deeb and lost to Queen Aminata and Yuka Sakazaki. She had an eliminator match with Lady Frost that lasted 3 minutes. She beat Yuka Sakazaki at Arthur Ashe in 6 minutes. She beat Willow Nightingale, women's world championship match on pay-per-view at WrestleDream. Might have been one of the only pay-per-view title defenses that she had. She then had an eliminator match. Then Anna Jay beat her in an eliminator match at Battle of the Belts, which was a surprise. Mariah May then turned around and beat Anna Jay twice. And then Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa defeated Harley Cameron and Nyla Rose on Rampage. And then she didn't at Full Gear. They had that champagne celebration. She then beats Mina Shirakawa. Winter is coming. Then on pay-per-view at World's End, beats Thunder Rosa. Then she beats Harley Cameron in a random match on Collision. She beats somebody named Shay Carmichael in 30 seconds. Then loses at Grand Slam Australia. And then faces Toni Storm in the Hollywood ending match at Revolution in March. That was her title run. That was her run in AEW. That's it. That's all Mariah May did. So you can tell me, hey, man, what more could they have possibly done with Mariah May in the 2 years that they had her? Book her better. Book her better. Booking is the reason why Mariah May left. That's the reason why she left. She would have stayed. If she would have, she got a world title run out of it. And in terms of a 2-year run, you packed maybe a good 5 to 10 year career into basically 18, 19 months, I think, really, with how she was prominently featured on television. But this was all just a roundabout way to give her a win and then have Toni Storm come back after some time off. Toni Storm's really the crown jewel of this division. And then she's just forgotten about. Mariah May knew, at least, at some point, and maybe she was already leaning to go to WWE at the beginning of this. We don't know that. We may never know that. But I'm here to tell you, if she was booked a lot better, there was a much more increasing possibility, because there was people within the industry that thought she was going to stay because she was going to get paid a ton of money. And she took a lesser paycheck to go probably to NXT, which I don't understand why people have such a problem with her going to NXT. If she goes to the main roster, she's just going to drown out there, and she's just going to be in the midst of a bunch of bodies. I think her being in NXT actually does a lot of good for her. She can help get a lot of other women over in that division. She could be the women's champion for a little bit and then come up to the main roster and do her thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to NXT at this point. But guys, The reason why I said I think WWE, or actually why AEW, I think missed an opportunity and didn't maximize her enough is because, hey, that title reign could have meant a whole hell of a lot more than it did. At no point during her title run, even when Anna Jay beat her in a non-title eliminator match, you knew Anna Jay wasn't winning the world championship. Are you kidding me? And I like Anna Jay. But Thunder Rosa in a no DQ match? Come on. Thunder Rosa, I love Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa hasn't really been relevant, really, since she came back from the injury. She hasn't. Also, Mariah May never even interacted with Mercedes Moné at all. Never interacted with her at all. The whole story was with Toni Storm, which, admittedly is great. You're interacting with the crown jewel of this division. But all this was just a roundabout way to give her a title run and then, just do whatever the heck it is. Like, it seems like every women's champion, like Nyla Rose is like the gatekeeper of that division. You have to beat her first before you start it. But then Yuka Sakazaki, even the best story that she had with Mina Shirakawa, they didn't pay that off on pay-per-view. Like, this was not a good title run. And Mariah May saw that and was basically like, well, hey, I understand that you guys are going to give me more money, but if you're not going to book me well, what the fuck am I doing here? And I understand that, it might have been heavily tilted already to her going to WWE and why she signed that short-term contract. And, maybe that's why they kind of sped through this whole thing so quickly with her, because they knew they had a clock to get her. But, man, you had a chance potentially maybe to keep her. You did. And you basically gave her the bare minimum of a women's world title run. Nobody's going to remember what happened in it. Even the Willow match, which was solid. There really was never anything significant going on in that title run. The booking is just, it was not. That's the biggest reason why I think Mariah May left. Outside of the fact that I think she really wanted to be in WWE at the end of this all. They could have kept her. They really could have. Like, remember, guys, you guys remember MJF and the whole thing? I know there probably wasn't a spot for him, but MJF stayed and sold out for the money. Because, hey, he at least was given, like, a heavy paycheck, and, he's going to sell out for the money. But, hey, he was booked, semi-okay. Post since signing the contract, he hasn't been booked as well. That could have happened with Mariah May if they would have just presented her world title run as much better than what it was. It didn't really, make a dent in anything long-term for AEW. And that's why I think she's on her way out. That's why I think she's going to WWE. That's why I think she was going to probably be better off for it, because I think she'll be booked much better there than she was in AEW. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.